CHAMPS Live is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. And the Detroit Medical Center. Do you have a sports injury or are just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 24 of State Champs Live, presented by Lawrence Tech. You know, the North American Auto Show is one of the biggest events in Detroit every year. And although we won't have one this year, LTU has been a part of it for years. Students in the transportation design concentration had some of their model cars on display, as well as the Blue Devil Motorsports vehicles. LTU has so many outstanding programs that allow students to express their creative abilities. If you're interested in building the cars of tomorrow, you want to learn more about the transportation design program, head over to ltu.edu right now. We are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. My name is Lauren Plant, and today's guest is coming up. But first, let's check out the headlines from Monday, May 4th. Play Ball Michigan started with a Facebook page. Portage Northern baseball coach Chris Andrews and a couple of parents started this, and it now has a bit of traction, 201 online members. A group called Play Ball Michigan is attempting to garner statewide online support for an initiative that would convince the MHSA to begin planning for an abbreviated or modified spring 2020 season, whenever it's deemed safe to play. The group has a detailed plan of how much athletic activity will be allowed in each phase of the state's recovery from the pandemic, using the phases outlined in the Michigan Senate Republicans' Open Michigan Safely plan. You can find out more at the group's website, playballmichigan.com. The Big Ten extends suspension of team activities. With the initial suspension of team activities due to expire on May 4th, the Big Ten Conference announced Monday that it was extending the duration through June 1st and would reevaluate then. The conference still has in place a moratorium on all on- and off-campus recruiting for the foreseeable future. Well, we lost a legend. Pro Football Hall of Famer Don Shula passed away Monday morning at age 90. Shula spent the majority of his adult life as part of the NFL, from his playing days in the 1950s to recording an NFL record 347 wins and coaching in 6 Super Bowls, winning 2, including the capper on the perfect 1972 season with the Dolphins. Shula passed through Detroit in the early 1960s, serving as a defensive assistant for the Lions from 1960 to 1962, before becoming the Baltimore Colts head coach in 1963. Those are the headlines, being the fact that it is May 4th. It's Star Wars Day, right? May the 4th be with you. Get it? All right, let's get to today's Hungry Howie's Twitter question of the day. Which Star Wars trilogy is your favorite? The originals, episode 4 through 6. The prequels, episode 1 through 3. The sequels, episode 7 through 9. Find State Champs Michigan on Twitter, and please vote for today's question of the day. We will read the results tomorrow. Okay, well, it's kind of a movie-themed day here on Live, and I want to bring in today's guest. She is a teacher in the Lansing area's Holt High School. She teaches the study of film and literature to juniors and seniors. Her name is Ann Russo. Hi, Ann. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
All right, you look great. You got your Hoosiers gear there and all set up there. So why don't you just first talk about the class that you teach at Holt High School? What is the curriculum?
Sure. It's a semester-long course. So we start with a lot of background, historical, film, introduction, and a lot of technical information so the students can speak from a thoughtful perspective when we start discussing the short films in the early days, all the way up to more modern films from a few years ago. So then we kind of move into different early films and some biopics about Charlie Chaplin, and move into some classics like Citizen Kane and Sunset Boulevard, and then kind of just move through the semester with a genre focus. So we do sports movies, and we also do comedies and romance, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah, I bet. And I'm a movie lover. I'm originally from Los Angeles, so of course I'm a movie lover. But I wanted to ask you, when did you become, a real lover of movies? What's kind of your brief history behind the magic that you fell in love with?
Sure. I my first film in the theater was when I was about 4 years old. I went to see The Fox and the Hound with my mom and my sister, my older sister, and I remember that vividly. We didn't go to the movie theater a lot as a kid, but I remember watching movies very intently all through my high school days and grade school. We'd gather in the lunchroom and watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I remember seeing Schindler's List in the theaters with my sister and going to the drive-in movie theater in Coldwater, which is still there, the Capri Drive-In. I saw the Brady Bunch movie at that theater. So it's been a lot of movies throughout the years.
Yeah, for sure. Love the drive-in, and there still are a few out there. If you ever get an opportunity, you have to check it out. It's an incredible experience, I think. And my first movie I was taken to was Jaws. You would have thought that, and I was 6 years old, so you would have thought that I would have never gone back.
That's part of our curriculum. Students still get
Okay.
scared.
It scared the life out of me. But anyway, tell us about the class you teach. I mean, I'm sorry. I know that due to the quarantine, you came up with a creative way to express your love of film with students.
Sure. I have almost all seniors. I literally have one junior between my two film classes. And I could feel that they were the last week when we weren't sure when we were going to come back or if we were going to come back, that they were all feeling very, it was just a surreal time for them. And knowing that, the extension happened, I just figured why not try to have some fun with them and, bring them into the class online a little bit more creatively and kind of ridiculously with the costumes than what I had originally planned. So I started dressing up myself and then inviting them to do the same. And I've had so many great, pictures and stills from like side by sides from the films, that some films we watch and some that they've just watched at home.
Yeah, I think we do have some of those pictures that Kevin is going to put up for us that you've taken, and I know that they've had a real impact on the students. If you have any questions or comments for today's guest, maybe some of your favorite movies of all time, we can certainly ask the expert here. So you could do that on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and we'll get to those shortly. What's the reaction been with your students on these pictures? And in turn, I know you just kind of said they've done it in return. So I would imagine that, this is something they're getting super excited about.
Yeah, they some of them are just happy with looking at my pictures and just watching their movies at home and typing about them and submitting their work. Others take it a little bit more, creatively, like I have. And just last night, I had a student dress up like I dressed up as Sandy from Greece, and he decided to dress up as Danny from Greece. So that was really great. And I've had students dress up in pretty much all the genres. So I've had, adaptations done with students dressing up with comedies, with musicals, and horror films. It's been a really fun way to share, movies, share the class from a distance. Not to sound like Bette Midler, but that's kind of where we're at.
I'll tell you what, it's pretty phenomenal. I love the Wayne's World reference right there. That's pretty outstanding. But all the pictures, I love the fact that you've kind of recreated the exact moments in those films. So, I mean, that obviously takes a lot of planning, right?
It does. I have a lot of clothes, so I know a lot of people are like, "How did you find all those clothes?" And I thrift a lot, so I just have a lot of cheap clothes at home. And my two kids, Wyatt and Waverly, are my photographers, and they aren't as thrilled about me being the perfectionist with these stills as as one would think. But they get some good shots, and I appreciate them so much for doing it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, these are great. I mean, they really are. So, let's get to, here's what I want you to do. So I'm going to have Ann give us a movie recommendation list. So kind of her top 5 that you need to see, experiences you need to have if you haven't had them already. So, but first, before we do that, this is what happened this week in State Champs history. Our mission is to cover all sports, and in 2009, we were at the roller hockey state championship game between Walled Lake Northern and Northville. Knights going for its second straight title. 4 unanswered goals in the second period. Northville trimmed the deficit with a goal by Alex Bruin that made it 4-2, but too much Walled Lake Northern. Aaron Schwartz nets the hat trick. Walled Lake Northern goes on to win its second straight roller hockey state title, 5-2 the final. This week in State Champs history is presented by Lawrence Tech Athletics. Recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com. We truly do cover it all here at State Champs. So maybe if you want to put some comments into the comment section or whatever, you can ask, or maybe you can recommend movies that you think we should watch as an audience. Maybe it's something even Ann hasn't seen. But right now I want her to give us 5 must-see films our audience needs to see.
Sure. When you asked me to create the list, I did my best and I tried to focus each one on a theme. And of course I had to write them down. So
Yes.
My number 5 is It's a Wonderful Life, simply because it's about kindness. And number 4 is Schindler's List, because it's technically superior to most films and it's about courage. Number 3, The Shawshank Redemption. The original story, most people don't know, was written by one of my favorite authors, Stephen King. And that one's about hope. Yes. And number 2 would be The Breakfast Club, because it's just a John Hughes classic. He was born in Lansing, and it's about just being true to yourself and being honest with people. And then my number 1 is The Wizard of Oz. It's about, finding your home and wherever that might be. And it's about love and courage, and it's just my all-time favorite.
I know, and I believe that was made in like the 30s, right?
Yes.
I mean, and it's still...
a lot of the great films were made during really difficult times like the Depression. And it'll be interesting to see, even if productions cut, right now during this time period, it'll be interesting to see what films come out of it.
Absolutely. And, it still holds up today, Wizard of Oz. It's pretty amazing. So I wrote down a couple here, and I was thinking more of, for our audience, maybe it's more of a sports action kind of related audience, movies that really impacted me when I was growing up. It's interesting you say Shawshank Redemption, because on a separate note, that's in my top 5 all time for sure.
Yeah.
1994 is an incredible year. I mean, that was Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump. Okay. Dark Knight. My greatest superhero movie of all time, that's mine. Rocky III impacted me massively when I was a teenager when that came out. It was the dawn of both Hulk Hogan in wrestling, for those of you who know him, and Mr. T. So you should check that out. Army of Darkness, I know that you had somebody play the Ash character from Evil Dead. Yep, and that was the 3rd movie of the trilogy, the best movie, in my opinion. And I saw it at the drive-in maybe like 50 times. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, was something that I saw in the movie theater, and it scared me so much I couldn't sleep for 2 days. I was 12 when it came out. So, and then lastly, just like you said, a John Hughes movie, 16 Candles. For me, that was the one that really super I love Breakfast Club too, but 16 Candles came out just at the right time in my life. I was that age. And it just had me in stitches from the beginning. And great story of, believing in yourself at the end. And it was awesome.
Yeah, love that one too.
Okay. I want to thank Ann Russo for coming on. She's a teacher at Holt High School, and this is great that she's done this. But I understand before we let you go, you have one final shout out you'd like to get in.
Yep. I just want to say, to all my Reading Rangers, maybe watching the show, back-to-back state football champions. My hometown is Reading, and I love everybody there. My nephew is on the team, and I miss my family a lot, and I can't wait to see all of you soon.
All right. Great. You got it in. Fantastic football program. Congratulations to Reading once again. And thank you so much for being on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Time now for the MHSAA clip of the day. And that's your MHSAA clip of the day. Props go out that he actually chalked his backyard there. So, hey, we want your short video clip to be today's clip of the day. If you think you captured something you like, let us share it with everyone. Send a link on your clip to any of our social media platforms. We'll check it out. Another thing I strongly encourage you to check out are our Game Changer segments presented by the pros at the Detroit Medical Center's Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine team. Here's an example.
Athleticism is more than just training power and speed. Training your sensory system, utilizing your eyes, can improve your reaction time and your quickness. We're going to be training your eyes, connected to your brain, connected to your body. So whatever the sport, incorporate sensory training into your next workout.
We have comprehensive 2-minute segments uploaded weekly on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram channels. Now, even though the competitive robotics season has been canceled, we got a few weeks in. The Worlds would have been this weekend. State Champs is still creating new content for you to enjoy. Just follow Robo's Own Show to get brand new interviews, archive footage from past world championships, all kinds of great stuff. Just search Robo's Own Show. And gamers, we know you love esports. Kind of a Star Trek theme happening, or Star Wars, theme happening right now. Check out the State Champs Esports Twitch channel for lots of game action. In fact, our League of Legends playoff tournament is beginning this week, so you're going to be able to see some really cool tournament action from local high schools. All right, let's get to the results of yesterday's Hungry Howie's Twitter question of the day. What do you think of the Major League Baseball plan to use spring training facilities for the 2020 season? Well, it looks like most of you don't really care. All right. Tomorrow on Live, it's a DMC Tuesday with Dr. Lee Tolan, a physical therapist with the DMC Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan. We'll talk about the craft of physical therapy and other items. Please join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. If you know of a guest or a topic we should talk about or two here on Live, email our show coordinator, Amanda. Her email address is amanda@yellowflagproductions.com. Hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow on State Champs Live.
Right now, we are all longing for the roar of a crowd, the excitement of a stadium filled with cheering fans, and the ecstasy of celebrating a hard-fought victory. But right now, we're all on the same team, and we must do our part to make sure as many students, athletes, coaches, teachers, parents, and loved ones are there when we have the luxury to resume our rivalries and start rooting for our teams once again. Stay home and stay safe.
State Champs Live is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. And the Detroit Medical Center. Do you have a sports injury or are just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers.